Hey everybody, it's Eric from EPautos.com, your libertarian car guy. Wanted to offer up a preliminary thought about this 25 Subaru Forester that I'm test driving this week. You may be aware that it's been updated for 2025, primarily visually. It's a bit more SUV looking now than crossover looking, though it's still a crossover. Looks a little bit more rugged. But the thing I wanted to talk about is a significant bump up in price by more than $2,000 relative to last year. And I mention that because it's part of a creeping trend. I'm not singling out Subaru by any means. I'm just speaking generally here, using this model as an example. So now this thing is starting close to $30,000, whereas previously it was closer to $27,000 to start. And yeah, it might not seem a lot to some people, but to other people it is a lot, and I think once we're getting to the point where basic cars, which really fundamentally this Forester is just a basic car. It's not a particularly fancy car. I'm not saying that it is what would you call it, a blue light special. There's no such thing as a blue light special anymore, and I think that's part of the problem in terms of affordability. People who are Gen X people or older than that can remember when there was such a thing as an economy car. You notice that term isn't being used much anymore. Instead, you hear about entry-level cars, and the distinction is important. What do I mean by that? Well, today it's impossible to find any new car, even the so-called entry-level cars, that does not come with typically climate control, air conditioning, certainly power windows and locks, automatic transmission for the most part, digital gauges, a big LCD screen like this one here, cruise, blah, 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 good stereo. And again, in no way am I saying that any of those things are bad things. I'm not trying to be like a grumpy dude who objects to the advance of progress and technology and all of that stuff. I'm just pointing out that these things do add significantly to the cost of vehicles, and I think people have become habituated to these things as being necessary standards, and the result of it is, of course, that vehicles continue to get progressively more and more expensive, and the problem has been compounded the last few years by this the devaluation of our money that they call inflation, meaning it takes more of your dollars to buy the same thing. The price hasn't really gone up, but you still need to put more money down to get the same thing. And that gets more and more difficult because we're not really earning more money, even if we're being paid more dollars. It gets confusing, but everybody understands what I'm talking about when they stand in line at the grocery store and they find that $80, $100 buys 2 little plastic bags of basic groceries. And so, circling back, adding $2,000 to the price of a vehicle is important because it's more than just that $2,000. It's also the cost of insuring the vehicle that costs $30,000 now rather than $27,000, because of course your premium, what you're required to pay for the policy, is going to be based on the replacement cost of the vehicle. And when that goes up, so does your insurance. And so the long and short of it, where I'm going with this, is I think it would be nice. It would be certainly helpful if we still had the opportunity to buy economy cars, not just for the sake of the availability of the economy cars as such, which I think would be a boon, but also because their existence, if they did exist, would, I think, help to put the brakes somewhat on this trend toward ever more expensive things that ever fewer of us can really afford. It's only so-called affordable because people are willing and able to sign up for ever-increasing debt, and the financing institutions are willing to write up that debt, and a point will come where that is no longer, as they say, sustainable. And in my opinion, I think we've already reached it. You're seeing dealership lots crowding up with these new cars that people aren't buying because they can't afford them. Even if they could finance them, even if the interest rate is very low, do the math, as they say. Think about what it will cost you to finance a $30,000 car over 5 years. A lot of money, especially when you factor in the cost of insurance, and in the states that have it, the obnoxious property taxes that they hit you with just for owning a vehicle. Anyway, I'll have more about this 25 Forester up at EPautos.com. Hope you'll swing by and take a look, and thanks as always for listening. We will catch up with you again soon.